So, picture this. What if the one piece of tech that was supposed to be your industry's rocket ship to the future suddenly turns around and becomes its biggest threat? Well, that's pretty much exactly what just happened on Wall Street. Artificial intelligence, the golden child of the tech world, just triggered a massive, totally unexpected stock market sell-off.
Now for this deep dive, we're unpacking an opinion piece from the Wall Street Journal's editorial board. It was published back on February 3rd, 2026, and it perfectly captured this absolutely shocking turn of events. This quote from the legendary Intel CEO, Andy Grove, it really sets the stage, doesn't it? It's this powerful reminder that in the world of tech and business, the ground underneath your feet is always shifting. If you get comfortable, you lose. And as we're about to see, even today's biggest giants have every single reason to be paranoid. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll look at what actually happened on that crazy day. Then, we'll pinpoint the exact AI tool that set off the alarm bells. We'll see how history can actually help us make sense of this, talk about what it takes to survive this AI revolution, and finally, try to grapple with the truly unpredictable future that AI is carving out.
All right, let's dive right into it. Section 1. What exactly went down, and why did it send such a massive shockwave through the entire financial world?
So here's the core of it. On a random Tuesday, software stocks just fell off a cliff. And we're not talking about one or two companies having a bad day. No, this was a sector-wide collapse that pretty much nobody saw coming.
And just so we're all on the same page, when we use a word like rout, we're not just talking about a little dip. A rout is a full-on, frantic sell-off. It's that moment when confidence just evaporates and pure panic takes the wheel, sending prices into a nosedive. And this is where it gets really ironic. The companies getting hammered weren't just random bystanders. These were the companies that were supposed to be the biggest winners of the AI boom. Instead, they ended up right in the crosshairs, and they learned a really tough lesson. What the algorithm gives, the algorithm can absolutely take away. But a market doesn't just freak out for no reason. There's always a catalyst. So what was it? What one thing was powerful enough to spook Wall Street this badly?
The question on every trader's mind was simple. Why? Why now? And the answer wasn't some complicated economic report or a new government rule. It was a single product launch.
The trigger, the culprit, was a brand new AI tool from a company called Anthropic. And let me be clear, this wasn't just another fun chatbot. This was a seriously sophisticated model built to do complex, high-value work for businesses. Specifically, the kind of boring legal work that companies pay a ton of money for.
And just look at what this thing could do. We're talking about automating contract reviews, making sure companies are following the rules, even drafting legal briefs and NDAs. This isn't just admin work. These are some of the absolute cornerstones of corporate legal departments.
So the chain reaction was almost instantaneous. Investors connected the dots in a heartbeat. They thought, wait a second, if this AI can do the job cheaper, why would anyone keep paying for the old software? And just like that, giants like Salesforce and Intuit, even credit agencies, they all watched their stock prices tumble.
Now, as crazy and new as this all feels, the actual pattern, this fear of disruption, is a story we've seen play out over and over again. Honestly, history gives us a really good map for understanding the anxiety that's gripping Wall Street right now.
Just think about Amazon, right? For decades, if you wanted a book, you went to a bookstore. That was it. Then e-commerce came along and offered a totally new way that was faster, cheaper, and more convenient. And suddenly, the old way just felt obsolete.
Or, the all-time classic example, Netflix versus Blockbuster. The video store felt invincible. It was a Friday night ritual. But then, streaming offered something fundamentally better, and an entire industry just vanished. It felt like it happened overnight.
And this is exactly the logic that investors are using today. They're looking at all this traditional business software and seeing the next blockbuster video. And they see these new AI tools from companies like Anthropic as the new Netflix, a cheaper, smarter solution that could make the entire software industry as we know it a thing of the past.
So naturally, this single event blew the doors off the conversation. It stopped being which cool AI company is going to win and turned into something way, way scarier. Which of our current industries are even going to survive this?
And this is the question from the article that really makes the fear spread. If AI can tackle high-level legal work, well, what's stopping it from doing a company's accounting or figuring out its taxes? All of a sudden, the threat isn't just to a few software companies in Silicon Valley. It's to a huge chunk of the white-collar economy.
You see, the whole mindset on Wall Street has shifted. For a while, the big worry about AI was a repeat of the dot-com bubble, right? That investors were just throwing silly money at startups that would never make a profit. But now the fear is so much deeper. It's not about a bubble anymore. It's an existential fear that AI is going to come in and just completely dismantle businesses that are profitable right now.
But, and this is important, there's a huge lesson from that dot-com era. Yeah, the bubble burst, a lot of companies went bust, but the technology itself, the internet, it was still the real deal. It went on to change literally everything. The same could be true for AI. Even if there is an investment bubble, the tech itself isn't going anywhere.
And get this is probably the most fascinating twist in the whole story. On the exact same day the software world was in a complete panic, an old-school retailer, Walmart, saw its value hit $1 trillion. And the secret to their success? They didn't invent AI, they just got incredibly good at using it. It's just powerful proof that the winners of this revolution might not be who you expect.
Okay, so let's try to tie all this together. What's the real challenge here? And what's the big takeaway from this whole mess? How should businesses, and really all of us, be thinking about what's coming next? Well, the path forward seems to boil down to three big ideas. First, we just have to accept that unpredictable disruption is the new normal. Second, we have to remember it's not always about replacement. It's also about augmentation, using AI as a tool to make us better. And finally, and this is the big one, the ultimate question for every business is now, what is the one thing we can do that an AI simply cannot?
And that really leaves us with this one last huge question. We've seen AI shake up the software world and the legal profession. We've seen it quietly power a retail giant to new heights. So, if you look at the world around you, after everything we've just talked about, what industry do you think is next?
If you want to dive deeper and read that original Wall Street Journal piece that got us started, we've put the link right here on the screen for you. Thanks for watching.